This Discover Mirrorless vlog post is brought to you by the Manfrotto brand of travel tripods.
Hey guys, Steve out here in Los Angeles for DiscoverMirrorless.com. So I wanted to share my experience putting together my working hybrid photo kit and tell you my top 5 most valuable tools I think would work great if you want to become an emerging hybrid pro photographer. Obviously, I like to keep things within a reasonable budget, so everything is pretty budget conscious. First off, my Panasonic Lumix G5. What an amazing little camera. I mean, let me tell you, the image quality coming off this sensor is really something quite extraordinary. Panasonic has really done a bang-up job with this, and they packed it full of a lot of features. It's small, it's light, and it's a lot of fun to shoot with. One thing that they didn't put on here though, that I thought I would have much more of an issue with, but I haven't yet, is the lack of manual video controls. Coming from my video background, that's something I'm used to, but honestly, the G5 just gets out of my way. I push the little red button, I look through the viewfinder, I can concentrate on framing my shots and nailing the video clip, and it's been working great. I don't have to worry about those technical details anymore. And I'm sure at some point it's going to be more of an issue for me, but for now, it's great. Another thing that comes up every once in a while is I'm approached by people and they go, "Hey Steve, why did you pick a camera that's not a pro grade camera?" And I have to tell them, it's not about the camera, guys. It's about what I'm doing with the camera. And the G5 is as much a pro camera as any of the other ones that I've shot with. Yeah, it's not a GH3. It doesn't have all the features of a GH3, but it's also less than half the price of a GH3. And you can actually find them in stock, unlike the GH3. So, Panasonic Lumix G5, awesome little camera. It's a great value, and as Panasonic comes out with the successor, the prices on it are only going to get better. Tremendously recommend it. But a camera wouldn't be a camera without a nice lens to use on it. And that's why we have the Sigma brand of micro four thirds lenses. They've been making these for a couple years now, but the 30mm and 19mm f2.8 are one of the best deals out there right now. You can pick them up for as low as even $100 a piece, and you think at that price point that they wouldn't be that much better than, say, a kit lens, but you'd totally be surprised. I use the 30mm almost all the time, and I'm constantly blown away by the image quality and the color reproduction. It's really quite amazing, the value you get for the dollar here. Sigma has been around for decades making lenses, and they really know how to make a good photographic tool. So they're actually updating these right now, and that's why you're finding some really low prices. But they've announced them. They're not available yet, but they're going to have a new 30mm and 19mm, and they're even going to have a 60mm f2.8. It's going to bring some improvements, and it's going to change the way they look, a little more metal to them and not as plasticky. But I'm eagerly awaiting to get my little hands on that 60mm f2.8, because I think that's going to make a great, more close-up portrait lens for the way that I work. So great value for the dollar here. Definitely check them out. So next up is a piece of equipment that I've had for a couple of years now, and that is my 5-section Manfrotto photo and video tripod. And let me tell you, don't let looks fool you. At 2.5 pounds, this thing is really small and really light, but it's also very sturdy. I can use any of my micro four thirds cameras and lenses on it, and it's not going to be a problem. I've also used my Canon DSLRs on it, and it works. But with something like a 70 to 200mm lens, it's a no-go. It's way too heavy, and it just doesn't work. But something like a Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100, yeah, it's going to be perfect. So for micro four thirds mirrorless cameras, this Manfrotto tripod is a great tool to have. Yeah, it's not a fluid video head, and it's not going to give you that fluid movement, but I own a fluid video tripod, and I love it. But it's so heavy, I don't like to take it anywhere with me. So this guy goes everywhere. I'll throw it in the car on a photo shoot, and it also serves double duty because I can use it as a light stand. I can also use it as a sort of steady cam by taking my 2 fingers here and balancing it out. And I'll use the shaft and the legs and extend them and things like that to change the distribution of weight and change the way that it interacts with the camera for getting a steady shot. So that's something I really like to do with it, and something you really can't do with a really heavy tripod like that. So also a feature that I really like is, because this is made for photos and videos, it has this little thumb wheel, so you can do really quick changes to adjust the tripod. But when you want to take it out of video mode, which is locked in right now. You can't go sideways and do a portrait style. You just flip this little switch, it unlocks it, and you can rotate the bottom, and then it can flip into doing portraits, and you have your tilt. So really a great piece of equipment for anybody who's trying to jump into hybrid photography and needs a tripod to steady their shots, but doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money, because this is really budget friendly. It costs about $59 and you can pick it up at any retail store. You know, when you're just starting out with hybrid photography, it can be a little tricky to get your colors to match between your still photos and your video clips, especially if you're still shooting raw. But this tool from X-Rite, the Colorchecker Passport, makes life a lot easier. It's still a pretty new tool to me, but I've been carrying it around everywhere with me. It's only the size of a passport. That's why it's called the Colorchecker Passport. So it slips right into the back pocket of my Event Messenger camera bag, and I can take it everywhere. You know, I used to be a RAW shooter all the time, and nowadays I'm more of a let's get it right in camera and JPEG kind of guy. And the reason why is because it makes life easier. It's a lot simpler to do the hybrid photography that way. Also, when you're shooting mirrorless cameras, you have a really nice visual feedback instantly. You can see what your image is going to look like in the camera. Also, there's so many controls you have over creating the image inside of these Panasonic Micro Four Thirds cameras that I think it's really nice compared to like the Canons, where you only have a few little controls or they're deeply embedded inside of menus. I can switch things on the fly between my cameras and it works great. With that said though, this is about $100, a little less than that, but I think it's a great valuable tool because you can get a very accurate white balance on the fly. And if you're still shooting raw, you can use the color checker here to actually calibrate your individual camera sensor. So you can get a very accurate color rendition on each individual camera. So that's really neat. You know, for all the times that I've used an off-white piece of paper to get color balance, and I didn't realize it because your eyes see white and they see white and they see white, but just because this is white doesn't mean it's exactly a neutral white. And I've come up with some crazy color balance tones. So I know when I'm shooting with the color checker, it's going to be accurate. It saves me time. I don't have to sit there for hours in post, and that's valuable to me. So off to the next thing. So once you've gone out and you've shot some hybrid photography, you gotta have some place to drop them in and do something with them. And that's where my next and last favorite tool comes in handy, and that is Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. I love this program. It's awesome the way that I can do my still photos and my video clips all in one place. It just makes a lot of sense. And you know, as soon as I go out and I shoot something, I come back, sit at my computer, I empty my cards, download them into my Lightroom library. They go into a folder structure that I've created. And from there I can make my selections, do some editing, and then I can output them to wherever I'm going to use them, whether I'm making e-products or I'm just sending out files to clients. Lightroom has really become a versatile tool for the hybrid photographer. And the reason why is because it supports video clips. And it doesn't just like playback video clips. It now allows you to do trimming of your clips. You can do the playback still, but you can do trimming. And you can also do some editing of your video clips as well. You can change the exposure when you need to, within a certain degree. And you can make them take on some of the same characteristics that you're using to edit your still photos. So I know there's a lot of pros out there who are gonna say, hey, you can't go and make changes to your videos in Lightroom because that's going to destroy the footage and it's going to be second hand and that kind of stuff. And I can tell you this, I've done a lot of experimentation with Lightroom and doing editing of the video clips with inside it, 4 different looks. And I've been able to match my still photo JPEG edits perfectly. There's no real degradation that I can tell, and it just works. Now, what I've found though is that when you're doing a JPEG, you have some leeway in how you can edit it within editing, but it's not like shooting a RAW. And that is about the same amount of leeway that you have when you are editing a video clip. So yes, it does work, and I have firsthand experience with this, and it's working. It also exports extremely fast, so I can take that new clip that it's made with those editing changes, drop it into my nonlinear editor, or send it off to one of the hybrid labs, and it just works great. So again, Adobe Lightroom, it's one of the best tools there is as a hybrid photographer. And it's probably one of the most important things you can have and use besides your actual camera and lenses. Anyhow, these 5 tools, of course, are not the only ones that I have at my disposal for my day-to-day photography, but I think that they are some of the most valuable ones inside of my kit. So for anyone who's just getting into hybrid photography or wants to take it to that next level, you know what? These tools are tremendously valuable, and they're also budget conscious. They're not going to break the bank, and that's something that really matters to me. And anyways, I gotta go, guys, but if you want to keep up to date with the latest, I'm always vlogging here at Discover Mirrorless. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, or you can come back every day on discovermirrorless.com, and our team of hybrid heroes is vlogging daily. So great information out there. Also, if you hop on over to smallcamerabigpicture.com, I'll put the link over here. Yeah, right here. You can see me writing articles and talking about how I use micro Four Thirds cameras in a professional environment. There's a lot of great information going on there. It's all about mirrorless, micro Four Thirds, and just small cameras in general. So we're doing some great stuff over there too. So check it out, and I will see you again soon. Just remember to keep it simple and get out there and shoot. See ya.
This Discover Mirrorless vlog post is brought to you by the Manfrotto brand of travel tripods.